Give me 5 minutes of your time, and I will share something about life, God, and the Bible. Mark 6, verse 34. When Jesus landed and saw a large crowd, he had compassion on them because they were like sheep without a shepherd. So he began teaching them many things. Jesus sees the crowd. He has compassion on them. They look like sheep without a shepherd. Therefore, Jesus begins to share with them many things about God. Soon evening comes. The crowd is still with Jesus. They are getting hungry. Jesus' disciples get worried. How are they going to feed this crowd? They bring the problem to Jesus. Jesus' answer to them is a bit of a surprise. Mark 6:37 to 38. But he answered, "You give them something to eat." They said to him, "That would take more than half a year's wages. Are we to go and spend that much on bread and give it to them to eat?" "How many loaves do you have?" he asked. "Go and see." When they found out, they said, 5 and 2 fish. There are 5,000 men plus women plus children. All they have is 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish. How are they going to feed the crowd? It is Andrew, one of Jesus' disciples, who finds the boy with the 5 loaves and 2 fish. He brings the boy to Jesus and says this to Jesus. John 6, verse 9. Here is a boy with 5 small barley loaves and 2 small fish. But how far will they go among so many? What does Jesus do? He asks the crowd to sit on the green grass. He gets his disciples to sit them down in groups of hundreds and fifties. I believe he does this so that it is easier to distribute the food among the people. Then Jesus takes the 5 loaves and 2 fish and looks up to heaven. He then gives thanks to God in heaven and he breaks the loaves. He also divides the 2 fish among them. He asks his disciples to distribute the food among the people. And this is how Mark reports what occurs. Mark 6:42 to 43. They all ate and were satisfied, and the disciples picked up 12 basketfuls of broken pieces of bread and fish. There is more than enough food for everyone. There are even 12 basketfuls of bread left. There are many times in my life when I feel that I only have 5 loaves and 2 fish. My resources are limited. Looking at my situation, I also feel that I have 5,000 men plus women plus children to feed. Do we have enough? There are so many mouths to feed. There are so many things to pay for. Will we have enough for tomorrow? Do we have enough to pay our bills? Nora lives in Kenya. She shares this story about a difficult time in her life. Here is Nora's story. Shortly before our wedding, my husband lost his job. 2 months later, I got pregnant, with still no job for either of us. We had to eat. I had to pay for my monthly visit to the medical clinic and also meet other expenses. It was a difficult period for the both of us. During this time, God came into our situation and provided for our needs until the baby was born. When we had almost nothing to eat, God used some people to bring us food. One Saturday, when we were staying home wondering where our next meal would come from, a relative who had never paid us a visit came with her family. They brought us a lot of food, so much that we had some left over to share with our neighbors. That same week, one of the senior pastors and his wife also brought all that we needed for the baby. These incidents made me realize that we do not have to worry about what to eat, drink, or wear. We can trust in God. I may not be able to see how everything will work out, but I can know that God is always present in our circumstances and will take care of our tomorrows. Through Jesus, God feeds 5,000 men plus women plus children. God also feeds Nora and her family. May we look up to God in heaven to provide for us despite only having 5 loaves and 2 fish. Amen.